The late September dusk draped the Redstone Plains in a heavy veil of amber and violet, the 200-acre Texas ranch glowing faintly under the sinking sun. The lake a molten mirror of liquid gold rippling with the last light, wildflowers swaying in stubborn patches of yellow and purple, their petals trembling against the cooling breeze that carried the faint scent of dust and hay, ancient oaks stretching their gnarled, twisted limbs skyward, casting long shadows that danced like restless spirits across the parched earth. But near the repurposed railway slicing through Parcel 4B, John Parker, a rugged 54-year-old cowboy in a weathered Stetson, stood rooted to the gravel, his boots crunching the stones, his hazel eyes narrowing as a co-op freight truck screeched to a halt, its brakes hissing. The driver, Hank, a wiry man with a sunburned neck and a temper to match, leaping from the cab, his face flushed crimson, his voice a raw shout over the wind. "Your damn tracks are blocked, Parker." Quantum Horizons drones tore up the line, John's hand instinctively dropping to the revolver at his hip, his voice a low, dangerous growl. "They're back already," when a distant hum swelled into a deafening roar. 3 Quantum Horizon drones swooping low from the horizon, their sleek black shells glinting. Red lasers carving jagged scorch marks into the steel tracks, sparks flying like angry fireflies, Sarah Bennett sprinting from the barn, her boots pounding the dirt, rifle raised. Her shout piercing the chaos, "They're sabotaging the co-op." Frank Hensley charging from the ridge, shotgun cocked, Matt and Tom flanking with rifles, the air crackling with tension. The lake's golden sheen fading into a somber gray, the wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil. The past week had been a hard-won respite after Melissa Travers' downfall. Her county board dissolved, her condo across state lines a whispered rumor, the railway, once her arrogant scar on John's land, transformed into a produce line for the Redstone Co-op. A coalition of local farmers John had forged with a state grant, their first shipment of corn and wheat rolling out that morning under a sky streaked with promise, the plains humming with renewal. The Redstone Community Barn still echoing with the Harvest Fest's laughter, the twang of bluegrass fiddles lingering in the air. Steve's steady hand knitting the enclave into a tighter community with shared suppers and mended fences, Dakota napping in his swing-cushion bed beneath the redstone oak, his healed leg twitching in dreams, the Ridge Riders, Frank with his gruff resolve, Matt with his quiet grit, Tom with his sharp eyes, patrolling the trails, their silhouettes a comforting presence. But the verdant network's awakening weighed heavy on John. Lena Carter's late-night research and Samuel's journals tracing ley lines from Parcel 4B to the Sangre de Cristo Grove and beyond, Dr. Elalina Chen's voice tense over coffee. The nodes are amplifying. Quantum Horizon could turn them into weapons. John nodding grimly. Or break us first. That dusk. Hank's truck was the co-op's lifeline. 50 tons of grain bound for market. Until Quantum's drones descended, their mechanical were a harbinger of ruin, the wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. The assault unfolded in a furious blur, the drones weaving a deadly dance, their beams slicing the tracks with surgical precision. Molten metal hissing as it cooled, John drawing his revolver, firing at the lead drone, the shot ringing out, its shell cracking with a satisfying crunch. Tumbling into the dirt in a plume of dust and sparks, Sarah shouting over the din, "Cover the truck." Her rifle barking, another drone spiraling down, Hank diving behind the cab, clutching a wrench like a lifeline. "This is my damn livelihood." Frank's shotgun roared, a third drone exploding midair, shrapnel raining, Matt and Tom holding the flanks, their rifles spitting fire. But a fourth drone broke formation, hovering low, dropping a device, a verdant disruptor, its sleek casing thudding into the gravel, a high-pitched hum erupting, the ground trembling beneath their feet. The redstone oak's roots pulsing with emerald light that shimmered through the soil like veins of living fire, Lena racing from the house, her boots slipping in the dust. The verdant tablet clutched tight, its symbols glowing. They're targeting the node again. John aligning the regulation key, its etched runes flaring, a shockwave rippling outward. The disruptor shorting with a crackle, the remaining drones retreating into the twilight, their hum fading. But Hank's voice cut through the silence, sharp and bitter. "Shipment's late now, co-op's gonna skin you, Parker." The wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil. The next morning, John faced the co-op council in the Redstone Community Barn. The air thick with the scent of weathered wood and stale coffee, a scarred table ringed by grizzled farmers, Hank, still bristling, his knuckles white, Clara May. A widow with steel-gray hair and a no-nonsense stare, Roy, a skeptic with a limp and a perpetual frown, and half a dozen others, their faces etched with worry, Roy grumbling. You promised this rail would work. Now we're out $10,000. Clara May crossing her arms. Quantum's your fight. Why's it bleeding us dry? John standing tall, his Stetson shadowing his face. I'll fix it. The Verdon's tied to Redstone, not your fields. Hank slamming a fist on the table, the thud echoing, fix it faster, or we pull out. My kids need to eat. Sarah leaning in from the back. Whispering to John, they're scared. Don't trust us yet. Michelle slipping in with Tessa and Ethan, the kids wide-eyed. Is the co-op mad, Pa? John nodding, they're spooked. Quantum's playing dirty. Knowing the co-op was his shield against Quantum's greed, the lake glowing gold and the dawn beyond the barn's open doors, the wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. Tension simmered by midweek, John repairing the tracks with Frank and Matt, the sun beating down, sweat streaking their faces, the clank of hammers on steel a steady rhythm, when a co-op scout Jess, a young hothead with a chipped tooth and a swagger, rolled up in a battered pickup, dust billowing, Roy's calling an emergency vote, cut ties with you, John wiping grime from his brow. Over one delay, Jess sneering. You're a liability. Quantum's shadow follows you. Frank stepping forward, his bulk looming. Back off, kid, or you'll eat that grin. Jess revving the engine. Tell Roy I warned you. Speeding off, Matt muttering. They're fracturing Quantum sewing doubt. That evening, John found a note slipped under his porch door, and signed, scrawled in jagged ink. Quantum's paying us to ditch you. Watch your back. John showing it to Sarah, her face hardening. They're bribing the weak links, the wildflowers trembling in the breeze. The plains stretching wide and unbroken, their roots deep in the Texas soil. John rode out at dawn to Roy's farm, a dusty spread 10 miles east, the air heavy with the tang of manure and diesel. Roy leaning on a cane by his sagging barn, his eyes squinting under a frayed cap. Hank's pushing hard, says you're cursed with that verdant nonsense. John dismounting, firm. Quantum's the curse. I've got proof. Tossing drone wreckage onto the ground, its charred circuits glinting, Roy picking it up. They offered me $20,000 to vote you out, John's jaw tightening. Take it, and they own you. Your land, your kid's future, Roy's gaze flickering. I'll stall the vote. Give me a day, John nodding. Dig into Hank, someone's lying, the wildflowers enduring. Their roots deep in the Texas soil. Clara May hosted a co-op meeting that night at her ranch, a sprawling property with a windmill creaking in the breeze. Lanterns casting a warm glow over a crowd of 20 farmers. John arriving uninvited, his boots thudding on her porch. Quantum's bribing you to break us. Fight with me instead, Hank scoffing. You're paranoid. Spinning tales, Sarah stepping forward, holding the note aloft. This ain't a tale. It's their handwriting. Clara May slamming her gavel, a sharp crack silencing the room. Votes off, dig deeper. Hank, Roy nodding. I checked. Quantum's rep met Hank last week. Hank paling. That's a lie. But his stammer betrayed him, the wildflowers trembling. Their roots deep in the Texas soil. Quantum struck at midnight, a rage shattering the plains quiet. Operatives torching Clara May's silo 5 miles west, flames licking the sky. A beacon of orange against the black, John and the Ridge Riders racing over in the truck, tires skidding, Dakota barking furiously, Michelle bundling Tessa and Ethan into the storm cellar. Stay back. Babies, her voice trembling, John leaping out, seizing a hose from Clara May's well, water hissing against the blaze, Frank tackling a fleeing figure, ripping off a mask. Eli Grayson. His duster singed, his blade glinting. Drake's orders, burn you out. John pinning him to the dirt. Why, Eli? We were brothers. Eli snarling. You left me. You and your damn legacy. Drake owns me now. Wrenching free, vanishing into the dark, the silo smoldering, its grain a charred ruin. Clara May coughing. That was half my harvest. The wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. The co-op rallied at dawn, Hank grudgingly admitting, you're right, Quantum's the enemy. I met their guy, turned him down. Roy clapping his shoulder. I'm in, cash be damned. Clara May organizing a guard rota. No more fires. John working with Chun to reinforce the tracks. Signal jammers humming. Verdant amplifiers glowing, shipments resuming under a tense sky. Quantum drones circling at dusk, John firing a flare, its red arc a warning. Not today. Steve and Enclave folks joining the watch, axes and rifles in hand. We've got your back, Parker. Old Man Carter grumbling, damn tech vultures, the lake glowing silver under a crescent moon, the wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil. A new wrinkle emerged, Lena finding a ledger in the attic. The co-op's land overlaps a ley line, Quantum knows, Chin rigging a node detector. They'll hit again, John gathering the family. We hold the line. Tessa piping up, can I help? Ethan nodding, me too. Michelle smiling, you'll watch with me. The co-op's next run rolling out, John riding shotgun with Hank. The truck rattling, we're stronger together, Hank grunting. Prove it. The plains whispering resilience, the wildflowers enduring, their roots deep in the Texas soil. John sat on his porch that night, bourbon warming his hand, the railway humming with a late shipment. Sarah beside him, Eli's still out there, hurting, John nodding. And Drake's got more nodes to chase, Verdant's waking fast, Frank joining. We'll rebuild Clara's silo show, the stars bright, the wildflowers trembling, their roots deep in the Texas soil.